This week we're going to work on how to make faces. And generally speaking, a face, some of you might remember this from our drawing class, you can break up the proportions. So if you draw, let's say a basic ellipse, how about the center of the eyes, okay? You can break up that into thirds, or half of that, let's say half of this, through here into the nose. And half of this is about the center of the forehead. So you've got this area above the forehead, this area, let's say below, even below the nose. That could be a circle here. This is a larger circle. So what you want to study when you're looking at a face is how does it break up? How does it align itself? Like say the center of the eyes generally are the edge of the mouth. So you've got this way of breaking up the proportions, okay? Now, with that said, that's sort of the general map, let's say, of a face, okay? I thought this week would be kind of fun to do Brad Pitt. And we can do this. Actually, this is to be the demo. What we're going to do is go outside and we'll actually start doing each other. I think it'd be more fun. But I'm going to use this as an example, or as a demo. So here's the size of, this is Brad Pitt's face. You do lips. It's a little bit of a block because he's smiling, so these come out here, so you can tell the perimeter here. Center line, about halfway through is probably the eyes, or it is the base of the eyes, okay? Then about halfway through that, between here and here's the center, right below the nose, the mouth. And usually the mistake I make when I'm doing faces, I forget how big the chin is. So you can make yourself a nice circle here, go up here. Again, we'll go ahead and start and see how this works. So we're gonna draw this out. I was gonna keep it in view here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so here's my face. Again, I'm gonna try lips this way here. I'm using a pencil, obviously. I'm gonna make it a little square. Okay, then through here in the center, here's my center line, very light. Okay, and then I'll kind of just sort of do this. Here's my center line of the total face. Generally, also your eyes, you're gonna notice the distance between the eyes is about the distance of the eye itself. So I'm gonna put the eye in here. Move this up like this. And he's got some sort of a sharp crease right here. Some eyes are softer than others. I'll put this in. This is the end where the tear ducts are. Then you have a little slope through here like this. Okay. Obviously, Mr. Pitt is getting a little aged, so we can put a couple little lines. The thing you want to avoid is making everything as what you see. Don't put every line in because it'll accentuate age. Or we're not going to put any lines in for the teeth. It seems like no matter how detailed we get, when you put lines in the teeth, it looks real strange. But I'll show you. So we have the nose. Let's see, it's about center here, between this distance and this. This is that area below the nose here. Here's his nose, nostrils. Okay, comes out here. His lips. Just a little bit, and like I said, about the center of the eyes. He's got kind of a small lip. It's interesting. Lips aren't perfect, so it kind of goes straight, comes back up in here, and again, that's the character of a person. We're not perfect, so this idea of drawing the perfect person is a little strange because that's the character. Now, for the teeth, we're gonna put the teeth in, but we're just gonna leave them white. Okay, that area here, and there's his lips. Comes in like this. Okay, so that's sort of basic mouth configuration. Come in here. Now, why I picked this image, because you're going to see there's a shadow here. The light source is probably about here someplace, coming down like this. So this is lit. See, there's a shadow under the hair. And then so we have these nice big cheeks. And so we can see the shadow under the cheeks. That gives it that character of who a person is. Here's the cheeks. We have a slight, obviously from the nostril, comes back around here because he's smiling. And a little bit under the lip. Now, like I said, this is where I have a trouble. I have to kind of put another ball here for the chin. This sort of comes up a little bit like that. And see, here's that chin area. And then he's got these eyelids. There's the eyelids here. Oh, what's interesting too, when you look at the eyeballs themselves, they give direction. So he's looking this direction. He's looking this way. See that? Now what I do, so I put the eyeballs in, make sure you leave the white of the paper, and I put a little circle for the highlight. I always like to leave a white dot for the eyes themselves, okay? Then, so here's his eyelids up through here. He's got this sort of bushy eyebrows, come around like this. Okay. Comes in here just a little bit. Now, the ears are usually about at the mid-range, it's a little higher here, of where the eyes are. So we'll put in some ears. And at the bottom of the nose. There we go. See that? So this comes through here. Bottom of the nose, about there. Again, this is a sketch. What's also good is to sort of get the idea of the hair. Hair is also very iconic to a person. I don't have a lot of it up here, so I'm just going to make it up. Okay, there we go. So you see there's my basic shape, okay? The eyes here. Got a little bit of the crow's feet, as they call it, through here, just a little bit, okay? And there's a little bit underneath here, like that. So there's my basic drawing, okay? So this is sort of the first part. Let's get the drawing, get the drawing right. Now, the next part, obviously, we'll get our watercolors here. And I'm gonna pull back a little bit so you can see what colors I'm using, okay? You can see a little bit of what I'm. So what I'm going to use, obviously, I'm going to use this range through here, the tans. Okay, a little bit of orange. That'll give me that sort of that flesh color. Okay. A little bit of this. Now this image here is actually kind of red. I may put just a little bit of red in it. And again, we're not looking to make a real opaque color. We gotta make sure we add water to it, right? So we're gonna do this. Let's see here, get a napkin. Sometimes I test the color I wanna use here. That looks like that might be pretty good. Okay, and might be actually a little more red in there. But I'm going to add, let's see, maybe a little more brown. So take your time adding sort of that color range. Okay. And we're going to see if we can't just add a little bit in here like this. And I'm going to go pretty light. You can tell I've added a lot of water. So I'm really adding, what I'm adding now is the lightest part of the skin. So in a sense, we could almost do the whole. But remember, leave the eyes and the teeth area. Okay. And then what I'm going to do, just add a little bit, some brown, a little more red, for the shadow. So I've got a little bit here. adding a little bit of this color to the outside of his face this way, I'm getting, it actually starts to turn a corner. See that? This is the lightest area, lightest lights. And I'm not worried about sort of being, I like this impressionist part of watercolors. But I like it when he's in shadow. I'm gonna take a little bit of just water, and just sort of soften up just a little bit the transition here. There we go. So I'm just taking water and I'm putting it on wiping it off here. But I'm kind of liking the idea of just a little bit of, keeping the, it's a watercolor. So you got this nice sort of splotchy, waterish look to it, okay? Be honest, I'm not so worried about trying to make it look like Brad Pitt. I'm just using this as a real good example, but that's kind of fun. But you can see how you get the lightest lights, you get this little shadow underneath here, like this, okay? And I'm keeping everything, well, I was, light to dark, but I got use the same colors, just a little less water here, okay? And I like the shadow through here. Again, not the same as this, just sort of similar. I might put in a few little, I don't know, maybe just some light little details in here, but not too much. Because again, like I said, if you put a lot of details in, especially with lines, then it tends to really accentuate you. It makes the character look really, really old. We'll put a little bit in here. And again, some of this is going to be, some of those lines we can take out with the eraser later. Get it here like this. Okay, maybe just a little bit dark, just a touch. Excuse me. I'm using the dark, just a little bit of this dark from this side here. So I'm kind of basically using these colors in here, just a little bit of that red there. You notice how that eye sort of has a little negative to it, okay? That's probably some of his, there we go, just a little bit of that. Okay, I'm gonna, let's see here. I think I can go ahead and get a little darker brown. A little bit of black with the brown, just a little bit. And, I really can't tell what color eyes. I don't know what color his eyes are. Aren't they blue? Brad Pitt's eyes? Okay, so I'm telling you, I'm going to let this dry. I'm a little concerned about the eyes. I'm going to do some other research to make sure I got the eyes right before I jump in there. We can do the lips. So I'm going to shift gears, pick up a little bit of some pink in the red here in this area. Okay, that becomes another. So just a little bit, not too pink, because we don't want it to look like he's wearing makeup. So maybe a little bit of the, make sure there's water. Okay. I might put a little bit of pink in there just for fun. I don't like to. I tend to like to add complementary colors. Everything is very slight. Okay, I think that's a pretty good first start. Okay, so do this. We could probably put the hair in. Okay, this kind of blonde. Okay, now that's going to be, where this has got some cools and reds in it. We're going to go to another more yellow area here for the hair. Add a little bit of yellow. So I'm adding some yellow here. We'll see how that works out. Maybe this lighter yellow. There we go. Add this over here. We've got yellow with a little bit of brown. I get that sort of that blonde, I think, kind of look. Okay, mix those up a little bit. Yeah, let's see if that works. So we've got these. Again, we're putting the highlights in. Not sure, maybe a little too much yellow. darken it down just a little bit of black with the brown. Never use black all by itself. I'm just going to mix it in here just a little bit. I'm going to flood it in just a little bit. So here we still have that elliptical area here. I'm trying to leave that sort of the blonde come through. And then we're going to see if we can use this color. I think we can use the same color for the eyebrows. So we're just going to come in here like this. Okay. Not a bad start. And I think, like we said, put a little bit of some line in here under the eyes, his eyelids through here. You can tell how they're light here and dark here, and just a little bit here. Remember that down to the tear duct there. Okay, I'm going to leave that for right now. Let this dry, and because I want to do some research and check his eye color. That can be everything. Here it looks kind of brown, maybe hazel. I thought he had blue in some of his movies. So I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll come right back to phase 2.